Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you, the beloved audience, and then also with Pia and Cullen again. It's been a while, friends, since we've seen each other. It's been 2 months, but it's been the longest 2 months that I know of.
It seems like much, much longer than that to us also.
Yeah, it's too long. I want to introduce you guys properly today. So, because I haven't done that in a while. So here is Pia and Cullen, who are both PhDs, and they have accessed parallel realms of love and light, including interstellar beings, Pan's kingdom, fairies, and angels since childhood. Both Pia and Cullen are interstellar communicators who are dedicated to the joyous life work of bringing Larkma's voice of wisdom to the world. And they've been doing this dedication, labor of love for years and years and years and years and years. And we're so grateful to have you. So, and who am I? I am that I am. That is who I am. I am that I am. I'm the beloved I am. And I'm Kornelia. And I am co-creator along with you of Heaven on Earth. And I'm a businesswoman. I'm a spiritual mentor. And that's about it for now. So we could add all these other things, but what does that really mean? Because really, in the end, it's just I am that I am.
I think we could say, basically, we're all in this together.
We could say we're all in this together, right? Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And my gosh, I want to open up the show today with talking about how hard it's been, how intense it's been these last 3 months. For me personally, it's been intense. I feel it's been emotional. It's been hard. It's been challenging. I've been wondering, the ease and grace moments definitely took place, but there were a lot of challenges, a lot of things to observe and witness and see. And after a while, I was talking to a person the other day, and I was saying, after a while, after you've been at war for so many years, the spiritual war that's happening here on this planet, I want to ask you two, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Good God, it's like, what? So anyway.
It always seems the longest right before the light shows up and things change. Just ask any kid who's waiting around on Christmas Eve for Santa Claus. It's the longest time. They've been waiting for months, but that night is the longest night, and that's where we are.
We're at the longest night and at the darkest night. We're at the 11th hour. We're at the at the 11th hour. We're at that crucial time. And it's like, wow, becoming enlightened and being enlightened. I've been thinking about this. Isn't easy. It hasn't been easy to be spiritually integrated and awake while we're going through this time. So I just want to acknowledge all those people that are enlightened and that are awake and that are also feeling this. And so I thought we would open up with this today. What do you think?
We think the light needs to be shined into the darkness, and the more light we shine, the lighter we get.
This is absolutely the most intense period of time we think humanity has ever gone through. We are experiencing changes, chaos, the removal of everything we're used to. Every normal thing, every possible circumstance that we have relied on, that we have been part of, is no longer working. It's no longer part of how we live our daily lives. We've gone beyond. I know this is a trite thing to say, but we've gone beyond the old paradigm of what we thought made us safe and comfortable. We're finished with that because we don't know what's coming next. We don't know how to navigate all of the newness, all of the changes. They are so big and so connected to how we're all changing, and it's a new world. It's a new world. People say there are no maps to help us navigate this because we've never ever experienced this before.
But I'm discovering the more we let the emotional releases connect with what they're supposed to be showing us to let go of, belief systems, blockages, old pains, old traumas, when we allow those emotional things to move us through something, there's this expansive feeling of joy that just comes up. I mean, we told you at the beginning, before we started this show, we had no electricity for almost 4 hours, and it came on just a few minutes before the show. And as it came on, we were really happy, but those 4 hours, Cullen was going, oh no, we're not going to be on the Cornelia Stephanie show. And I went, it's just an experience. We're supposed to be there at will. If we're not, we'll reschedule. It's okay.
Yeah.
And the lack of stress that comes after you let go of the emotional stuff that's coming through is potent.
I totally get it. I understand what you're saying. And at the same time, I just want to go on vacation.
Yeah, we understand that too.
I just want, because we're constantly working.
Yeah.
We are constantly working on this. So, at some point, the workers, they need to rest and let everyone else integrate. It's like, kind of feels like a changing of the guard. Let's pass over the torches to those new people that are here to take the next. We've been holding the line. We've been paving the paths. We've been doing all of this work. And at this time right now, it's like, whew, even the most adept people, masters that we are, because, if I hear one more person say, remember who you are, I'm sorry. That sounds funny, right? But, I was looking at the book this morning, Remember Who We Are, because I wanted your bio. But, all the videos that are coming out, people talking about, we're here to remember who we are. We're here to remember who we are. We're here. And so I thought, what about the people that know who they are? What about those people, right? And so anyway, that's what I'm talking about. So it's been intense. There's a spiritual teacher named Owen Waters who wrote this article, and there's a paragraph in there I want to share. He talked about, in this paragraph, people have outgrown the old systems of government, education, healthcare, finance, commerce, religion, and pretty much everything. We need to be free to create new systems that will work now and into the future. And evolution of consciousness is knocking on that door. And I thought that was very well said. Right?
I will add to that our beloved Pleiadian friends, LARPA, just did an international live call yesterday, and they told everybody on the call, and it's recorded for anybody here who wants to listen to it. They told everybody on the call to remember, as a human, we are not using the entire percentage of our brain. We may know that we're larger than we are. We may know that consciousness is not just in this physical body, but we still have a big part of our brain that remains unconscious. And we have blockages that are in there. And during this time, intense energy is pouring in to help us break up those blockages. So we're going to feel emotional. And they gave us a bunch of tools about how to work with it, how to deal with it. So it's coming from multiple sources. This is the time to stop talking about the work and really get down and do the work.
Well, I know one thing, we have been. So it's, we've certainly been doing the work. And that's why I was asking you, Pia, are we there yet? And when is it coming? And you said it's going to come. You said it's going to come in October.
It is.
Well, that question has multiple aspects and multiple answers. We've been waiting for a long time. We've been working for a long time. And yes, it is here, but we have to live alongside how it's changing. We have to live alongside what we've already accomplished, as you've said over and over today, rightly so. Oh, there's a little emotional part right there. We have worked and worked and worked, and yet, I guess I can say, unfortunately, the work isn't finished yet. We're almost there, but maybe there's a little bit of fine tuning left for us to negotiate. Maybe there's a little bit of something that maybe we thought we were finished with that still comes up. And I think as long as we're still here, we have work to do. And I can tell you, I'm also tired. I am tired because I feel like many of us have held the torch, have held the baton for a very, very long time. And we've done our work, and yet it's possible that our true work, the absolute necessity of why we're really here, hasn't really begun yet. Maybe we're at that last stage where things have gotten so chaotic, things have gotten so out of balance, that it's possible that we have more work to do. And I don't necessarily mean work on ourselves. I mean more work out there in the big picture. And I want to be in the heaven on earth that we've been creating right now, but apparently it's not quite here yet.
I think the way to find our way into that is through how we view through our filters or how we view through our heart. If we look at everything through our filters and go, this is really awful, this really hurts, I don't really like this, all those filters that are based on experience, it's going to keep being bad. And if we open up the heart and go, okay, it's just an experience, it'll change, all experiences do, it's not so painful. And then when we can master that ability to do that, we are in heaven on earth. Everything doesn't look so bad. Everything doesn't feel so bad because we're living from a completely different perspective. That's how I feel about it.
But it doesn't, in speaking that, it sounds simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
And there's a lot of hard work to reach that place, a lot of hard work, a lot of emotional releases, a lot of not blaming the other person for what you're feeling, and instead going, okay, what is being asked for here? What is being released? Not judging other people for not being what you want them to be or expect them to be, but instead saying, okay, what is it about me that demands control of this situation? What is it about me that wants it to be different? When we do that work, we are living from the higher dimension.
I know that you're not blaming. I know that you're not judging. I know that you're doing your work and that you're processing. I know I am. And so
Right.
I don't accumulate energy in my field. I clean spiritual hygiene every day and process and feel my emotions, because I started that work back in 2008. And so I've been on this emotional processing, mental body, investigating every single subconscious belief to see what belief was there that wasn't true, that was embedded since childhood between the ages of 0 and 7, and investigated those, and then looked at those beliefs And at the same time, for us that are doing the work, that's what I'm talking about here. Is I'm talking about this. For us, it has come, I feel like there's still the old regime in charge on this planet. And,
Mhm.
and that's the controllers and the manipulators and that's the part I'm talking about. And I want to see that stop. I'm just tired of the divine feminine. I mean, that was the clarion call. That is why the divine feminine is here, to bring in that high vibrational, unconditional love and that frequency that we're here to embody and live with compassion and love and not control, manipulation. This whole thing that still seems to be inside of me. I'm at peace inside of me. I can perceive heaven on earth is already here, because heaven on earth is a state of consciousness that has been achieved and integrated over the last decade, worked on to really bring it in and to embody that. But now at this stage of the game for me, you're just hearing me rant a little bit today. And usually I'm very, I'm usually not, I'm really positive, but right now I'm just letting you know that I'm here. It's full.
I think we all feel that way,
We-
Cornelia. And I think when the cup gets so full it starts to run over, that's when the change really happens. I
Yeah.
think that's when we begin to make the manifestation of what's in the inner world show up in the outer world. I think that's what happens.
Yeah. The divine feminine is alive and well. We have no doubt about that. More and more men are actually waking up to the understanding that they contain feminine energies that they probably until recently didn't fully understand, that they had the potential to be an androgynous being with a balanced male and female makeup. More and more men are waking up. We can see that every day. But the controlling issues, the controlling factors that you're talking about, Cornelia, as they see the divine feminine becoming stronger, more empowered, more alive, more here, they are still trying to squelch that energy. And that is why the controlling factors are working so hard at this point to stop that movement of the important, absolutely pivotal movement of the divine feminine coming back into balance. So that's part of the last ditch effort that's going on that we spoke about a few minutes ago right now, because the divine feminine is not going to go away, is not going to stop. And those who don't want it in its normal, perfect place are going to continue to do whatever they can do to stop that balance from happening. So when I say maybe we really haven't really truly begun our real work, I think we're going to have to continue to be warriors involved in supporting the divine feminine and being sure that protection is there and that momentum continues to grow and grow and grow.
And I feel like everything you said, and I feel like, whatever we've been working on, we need to start seeing some of the materialization, because after a while, the old regime, I'm going to call it the matrix, the old regime, that whole program, that whole controlling system, all the systems, all the things, all the infectious energy that is, still trying to run the show. That's the part I'm tired of. And so I could start crying right now. See, I've got emotion there. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it for all of us. And so I'm saying it, I'm processing out loud here, and I'm processing my emotion out loud, because I'm just, here we've been at battle for all these years, and now it's time. None of us are afraid of hard work, because we're working constantly. We're working day and night. We're working in our dream state. We're working in our awakened state. We're constantly working, 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 working. And now it's time for whatever is coming that you said, Pia. I'm going to hold you to it in October on my birthday. So so I have something to look forward to. So great. Yay. I'm making light of all this because you see, but I'm also showing you my rant. I'm also showing you my vulnerability. I'm also showing you that this is all part of our humanity. This is how it is. Because like I said earlier, it's not easy, like being an enlightened being or becoming enlightened, remembering who you are, isn't a walk in the park. It
Yeah.
is at times. At times, there's plenty of blissful walks in the park and shifting your perspective. But after a while, it gets that watching the same thing happen over and over and over again. So I want to see things materialize for us, and that I want to see our dreams materialize for us. What we've been working on. That's what I want, and so I'm saying what it is that I want. And I want for the whole house of cards just to fall down.
I want to see those cards blow away.
Okay.
Just blow away in the wind. Just go.
Because there's so many people here that are ready to do this work. And I also believe that there's new systems that are already waiting in line, that have already been created, that are already there, ready to be inserted into, because the universe is kind and loving. We're not going to be left out in the cold with, but we're going to be, it's going to be great. The part that I'm tired of is this whole movie. So, last 2 years have been interesting. How many more years? That's all I'm saying. So, I would like to know. And you said earlier in the show, we don't know. And
We don't.
so
Worry in time isn't real. So we can throw out an arbitrary date, but it's in the range of the energies. It's not on a date because dates aren't real.
Yeah. I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said that you really would just like to be on vacation.
yeah.
Well, we feel like that too. And I want to bring up something that happened to me when I was a young man. In my university years, the disciplines that I was studying took me to shamanic work, shamanic medicine, shamanic work, deep, deep, deep work. And I worked with a number of shamans. And one of the shamans that I was working with said, if you really want to do this work, you have to be available 24 hours a day. You have to be there. You have to show up. You have to be ready to help. You have to be ready to get into the work that needs to be done. And I took that in. I was in my early mid-20s at that point, in the middle of my educational experience, which I probably spent way too much time in, but that's another story. I really took that in, and I think to be true shamans, or to be true spiritual warriors, or to be true spiritual travelers, we had to be on the mark all the time. I think we had to be ready, willing, and involved.
Yeah.
Because if we let go for a minute,
Yeah.
we would lose the momentum that we were involved with. And all these years later, that was 50 some years ago, honestly, that I was told that. It was a long time. I now realize that, yes, I was available, I was working, I was there. But as you said, Kornelia, maybe it's time to hand over the responsibility to others so that we can take a rest. So we can have some time for ourselves. We can be on holiday, or we can take a vacation, not necessarily meaning that we're never going to come back to the work. But I think many of us, because we've worked so hard, we need a bit of a respite. We need some time for ourselves. And I think Pia and I would agree with you completely that it's time that others take up the responsibility that we've been shouldering and holding all these years.
There's one thing I want to add to that, and that is one thing that Cullen and I have never done is called ourselves teachers, healers, leaders. We just do the work. And I think that's a real important distinction, because there are so many people out there that go, oh, I'm a healer. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. And you started this show by saying, who am I? I am. It's the same practice, the same thing about what we do. We don't need labels to do our work. And those who are needing the sense of identity, that they have a label, that they are a healer, that they are a teacher, they're looking for some kind of special recognition for a skill that we all have inherently within us. And I say, if you want to really do that work, drop the label. Doesn't matter what you call yourself. Other people can refer to you and say, wow, she really helped me heal. Wow, she really taught me something. Wow, he really showed me the way. All those things can happen. But we need to get the ego out of the way and stop saying, I am a teacher, a leader, or a healer, because all of us are.
I think what we're moving into at this point in consciousness is realizing exactly what Pia just explained. We all have the abilities to self-heal. We all have the abilities to lead. We all have the abilities to do everything that's necessary to be full, functioning, balanced, harmonized human beings, or galactic beings.
We are all sovereign. The Savior is within each of us. No one is coming to do it for you. And all of us have a physical body. The physical bodies have the ability to self-regenerate and self-heal. Now, if you take your consciousness and do the work and become that shaman that Cullen was talking about, because we're also, when you're doing that deep, deep, deep work, you become the shaman. You become your own inner shaman. You become your own inner healer. You become your own inner sovereign. You become autonomous. You become the authority over your life and over your body. Mm-hmm. And that is the part. I want to go back to what you said about we need a vacation. That really sounds so good to me, Cullen, because, you know, I feel like this. I feel like what I would like to do now is I would like to pass the torch to the next group. Maybe it's, I don't know what we would call them, but phase 2, phase 3, you know, those folks that are now going to take this next phase on, while we go off and we just rest and do some deep, deep, deep inner contemplations and have the time after relentlessly, I mean, tenaciously, relentlessly, tirelessly, for years and years and years, day in and day out, for like years working.
Well, you're talking to two people who have been doing it since birth.
Well, I was mentioning this to one of my colleagues yesterday, since I incarnated. Those were my words. And, you know, so now that's why I feel like I would like that time. And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't come back and do something again. I would come back. But
it's a human longing, Kornelia. It's a human longing from when we're tired. It's a very human longing from when we're tired. But I have to bring up a point the Pleiadians remind Cullen and I of frequently when we hit this point of wanting to go on vacation. They tell us quite strongly, this is not a vacation planet.
Well, I have said this before. Planet the Earth was a prison planet. And it was a prison planet. We are freeing ourselves from this planet. We are freeing the planet. We're helping the planet rise into higher vibrational ways of living and being. So because many of us felt like slaves. I mean, I remember when first the soul started knocking on my door and said, do you want to live like this for the rest of your life?
Mhm.
When I heard that call, like, do you want to live like this for the rest of your life? And I'm like, no, I don't. And I said, what is this? What is it that, how do I feel? And I said, I feel like a slave. I feel like a slave. I feel like I'm just a slave for everyone. And that is when I started making the transition, and from, leaving corporate America to then making that transition, and knowing too, that trusting that divine guidance that was coming through, that no, I don't want to live like this, and knowing that I believe in myself, that I've done good work here, and that now it's time to leave while I was on top, and
Mhm.
now go off to the next adventure, right? And now, and took that adventure, as we do with anything, any experience we're involved in. I know you guys are like this too, that we dive all the way in, we go all the way in, and we embrace it. And so here we are on planet Earth, in every experience, rising out of it with the highest level of consciousness that we can bring into
Yep.
the moment, right?
Yep. Yep.
Mhm. So,
Well, there's an age-old idea that if we don't take care of ourselves seriously, how are we going to help others if we're not balanced, if we're not regenerating? How can we possibly be of full service? And I mean full service to others, whether it's other people, animals, the planet, the cosmos. So in speaking about a holiday or a vacation period, we have to regenerate ourselves. We have to take time. We have to be conscious of the fact that maybe we've overworked ourselves, and maybe we need to simply not just slow down, but take a break.
I'm thinking like a sabbatical,
Yes.
rather than calling it a vacation. But I think one of the most, we've had a lot of daunting challenges that we've had to face, uh, being the shamans that we all are, and integrating the shadow and all the things. And then we're looking at the slavery and the debt, fiat system that this 3D world was built on. And, when we go on sabbatical, we want to make sure that we are taken care of, right? And that our basics are provided for, as everyone should have. Our birthright, our divine birthright. We should all have free energy, free. It should all be, our new systems, the new systems that are in place. I want to see those systems materialize. I
I'm,
just can't. When, Pia? When?
well, I'm laughing. I'm laughing to myself. You can probably see me smiling. When I was approximately 4 years old, I asked my parents, why isn't food free? Why isn't telephone communication free? Why isn't electricity free? And my parents looked at me. They didn't know what to do with this little guy because my questions were far beyond a 4-year-old always. And they said, well, it's a difficult thing to answer your questions because there are people who are always over other people. There are people who are owning things that should be free, but because they want to make money or a profit, they charge us for these services. And I said, but all of this should be free. We should have all of this just as human beings here on earth. We should be taken care of. We shouldn't have to pay. We shouldn't have to do extra things in order just to be. And they said, well, you'll have to grow into this because we can't really help you because that's not the way it works at this point. So you bringing this up about we should all be taken care of is something I've been worrying about, thinking about all my life since I was a little tiny kid. And if I understood that then, how is it that we've gone all these years? For me, that was 70 years ago, or over 70 years ago, I was asking those questions. How is it that we're still under the same program all of these years later? It makes no sense to me.
Right. And so you were already tapped in because you are already asking the questions of the new, of where our new heaven on earth, our new systems, where that's the foundations that we're going to have. That you were already tapped in back then as a child, as all children are, until they get dumbed down by their conditioning, by their parents, and by their beliefs, and the school and the teachers and all the things. So you were already tapped in as a child. And the reason why your parents couldn't answer that question is because it wasn't that time. And the bottom line is that time is now. And let me tell you, we are in the 11th hour. This is what I'm talking about right here. Jesus, right. We are in that hour. That's what I'm talking about. I'm really hoping that, within these next 3 months, that time is going to come, because I want us to, go on and start experiencing. We have a lot of work to do. There will be a lot of work to do, but our basics, free healthcare, free energy, free, our basics need to be provided for, so that we can then look at and get in harmony with the earth and start really listening to Gaia about what are we building next? What are we putting out next? This is the part, but we keep feeding the systems, and this is the part these are my rants.
I want to make 2 points here. One of them is, while Cullen was asking his questions about why aren't all these things free that should be, as a child, I was asking the question because my parents made me go to Sunday school and church. I was asking, okay, who made God? Explain to me where God came from. I want to know who made God. And I asked so many questions. The minister was quite patient. He was my best friend's father. And he was quite patient with me. And he said, well, time made God. And I said, there's no time. Who made time? This wonderful, sweet man wound up resigning from the church. So I want to say I have been changing the paradigm, as Cullen has, since we were tiny children. The second point I want to make is, I told you that we've been told, forewarned, given a prophecy, a gift, that the energies are going to change in October, and that we are having something come in that is giving us a chance to move through the blockages. However, in November, from the Pleiadian Earth energy system, we're going through a collective shadow cycle that's going to be quite nasty. Now, this combination of energies is important because the collective shadow cycle is where we have the opportunity to drop all the collective beliefs, drop the old paradigm, step into and move through all of these other things that are not functional. They don't work.
It's a time. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
It's a time for the greatest growth to happen during these collective shadow cycles. So much is going to be brought up into our faces that we can either ignore it, put our heads in the sand, or we can use it as an opportunity to zoom in our growth potential.
So the sad part is that we've had these collective shadow cycles once or twice a year forever as humans. But humans don't pay attention to changing the paradigm. Instead, they start a war. They get a divorce. They do something aggressive, assertive, selfish. They don't take advantage of the energies. This time, we're being given these powerful energies that are coming in with solar flares, cosmic rays that are causing the KP index to go off the chart for days at a time. All of this is coming in with light to show the light where the blockages are so that we get the emotional stuff rising to the top and we work our way through it. We've got the opportunity to remove the blocks if we act on it. And this is what Lartman was talking about in their international live call on Sunday. Here's an energy that's never been presented before a collective shadow cycle before. Take advantage of it. And then when the collective shadow cycle comes, we can make a massive difference for the planet.
We sure have had a lot of solar storms in these last 3 days as well, because I always feel that energy in my body, and it was intense. It was intense, and it's, you know, the best thing that we can do during that time again is when we're affected by these solar flares, solar storms that are coming in, that we hydrate and rest and move the body. You know, walk and do those things. But that the last 3 days, it was really, really intense. Maybe that was even what, you know, took your internet out. Who knows?
No, there's a major storm here.
Oh, we had a storm. Okay. So, you know, what you're talking about with the coming time period is, you know, we use astrology too. I know you use astrology in your readings and what you're doing, but there's Mars in Gemini right now, and it is all going retrograde. And so you're talking about war. And so, you know, the retrograde time period is for, you know, the war that is happening within, right? Because it's about how is the action, your action, and how are you acting with yourself on the inside.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right. And if we are projecting the war outwardly, we are maintaining the old paradigm, the blaming, the judgment, the emotions, the projectile of what's in here that we haven't worked on ourselves.
Yeah. There are so many things, aspects that are available now. Part of the reason why we talk, and we've been talking about this October for years, that what is potentially possible. It's many factors. It's space weather. It's astrology. It's the change of cycles. It's so many things that are all approaching this fall, that are all working together to give us the momentum for these changes we're talking about. So this time is going to be so energized. This fall, we're almost there. The possibilities of change are going to be enormous, and we have to be really alert. We have to be really awake to see the symbols that are coming our way, to see the metaphors, to see the energies. It's all going to be given to us. And I don't mean given to us, as you were saying earlier. We're not going to be whisked off the planet and healed and taken care of. I don't mean that. But we're going to be able to take care of ourselves through these energies, but we have to be aware of what they mean and how they're here to help us.
The main thing is to be aware that this is happening and that these energies are coming in and that this light is coming in, for us to integrate this light into our physical bodies. And then think about Mars. Mars going retrograde. Mars is, you know, the warrior god that is either going to go to war outside, pick up the guns and start shooting, or the what is the hero in you, the higher archetype of the divine masculine, which is the warrior in you. How does the divine masculine in you act during those times in you? And that is what's really, really important, because that this time period, even though we're gathering momentum, there's also a pause and there's a slowdown, because there's a lot of the outer planets are all retrograde, and you know, there's a lot of slow down right now, so that we can really make those conscious choices, those elevated conscious choices of, is this the higher act, is this the higher plan, instead of, you know, impulse impulsivity, like acting on impulse and acting like projecting. I see so much projection going on constantly. That's also exhausting.
And we're also not just the outer planets in retrograde. Mercury moves into retrograde on Saturday.
Yeah.
So the inner planet will be in there. So on top of having Mars and all this warrior stuff, communication is going to be at a premium. And my take on that is we need to start doing our communication from the heart, not through the words, just sending the message out intuitively through the heart, through our gestures, through what we do for one another. Forget the words. They're going to be misunderstood. You're not going to hear each other. All that is already happening because Mars is in retrograde and we're angry about it. And now when Mercury goes retrograde, it's going to be very interesting. Good time to do our work.
And, I call Mars and Mercury both the divine masculines. Mm-hmm. And the messenger is the divine masculine, and the action is the divine masculine. And as long as both of those actors are acting from the highest perspective of source, we're good to go. We're good to go.
The divine feminine shows up on your birthday on October 22nd, moving as Venus moves in her circle dance in the sky into Libra, the sign of peace, harmony, and balance. So Mars and Mercury are absolutely pushing us to the limits to do our inner work so that when the divine feminine comes through on the 22nd of October, we will be able to not only embrace that love, but be that love.
Yes. And that is the time period now. So I'm still all in. So don't get me wrong with all of my, passionate energy today. I'm still all in with everything. I'm just going through a time of where I'm just like, wow, how much longer, before we start building that new, how much longer before that? So you've given me a lot of hope today with, what's coming. And that's good to look forward to that. I feel like the fall, this time period is going to be very challenging for a lot of people. Very challenging. I was talking to someone the other day about what's happening in the UK with the energy bills over there. Their coal and their energy, their coal has tripled. Their energy bills have tripled 3 times the amount. And people that have worked all their lives, right, to, make their way are not going to be able to pay for their energy come this fall. And there was this coal industrial place where people were actually driving up their cars to have coal put into their Subarus and to their hatchbacks and put coal in there so that they can go get the coal and actually heat their homes for this winter. So it's a global infection of challenges that we have this winter. But this is the time. And at the same time, I do believe in miracles, and that I do believe that we have everything that we need inside, and that we're here for this. We came for this.
And that is precisely why we can't give up.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine giving up. That is so, we're fighting. We're fighting for our birthrights. We're fighting for our lives. We're fighting for this planet. I remember this small story. When I was in this relationship with the beautiful man, one of the things I wanted him to do is I wanted him to fight for the relationship. And I didn't see him fight for it, like really fight for it, like he really wanted it. And this is the part, the relationship that we have with ourselves, with the earth, with each other, this is our time to claim our planet back, to claim our kingdom back, to claim free energy back, our food, our life, our source, all the good things. That's our birthright that we came here to experience. That is what we're fighting for.
And I think we are on the brink of that very situation. And I am hopeful that the energies that we've been speaking of will bring the opportunity for the change we're looking for. Not a cure-all, not a curative, because we have to be responsible to make the right choices to change the world. But I think these energies, some of which are coming from without this planet we live on, and some are from within it through the people who are working so diligently, all of these energies together will allow us to make these changes.
And I want to just say again, for all the listeners out there, if you're really intrigued or interested in what we're saying, or if it rings true to you and you want an interstellar perspective, listen to Lartma's message from last Sunday's International Live Call.
How do they get that? How do they get that?
It won't be posted on the website until Sunday, but this Sunday you can go to larkma.com, that's LAARKMAA.com, and look for recordings, and it'll be listed under the most recent recordings. It's the one for this past Sunday, which was September the 4th, right?
Okay. I definitely want to listen to that one too.
Yeah.
Because I think, a lot of times when we do these shows, Pia, we usually don't talk about your Sunday calls. And is this, you're doing you're doing those every week, every Sunday?
No, we do them twice a month. Once a month, Lartma does a special message for the general audience where people can join and just be in the energy and listen. Mm-hmm. And on the first Sunday of every month, we do a longer call where Lartma gives a message, and then they open up for conversation and discussion, and participants can give viewpoints, ask questions. It's a real conversation. So this last Sunday was one of those. It was a real conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to listen to that one. And so we'll go ahead and put those links also in the description, in the YouTube description, to make it easy for you guys to listen to the call. And Pia, do you want to, I for some reason, I just have to say this. This is just really funny. Do you remember when I said to you a long time ago, I said, you two remind me of you just got off from some spaceship. You just came down from some spaceship, and then here you are. Yeah. And that's what you look like. And this is what is being shown to me right now. It reminded me again, it makes me laugh. So I really need some laughter. And
we all do.
We do.
We all need laughter.
We do. And it's funny when people ask us where we're from, they generally mean what country or what state. And Pia and I often laughingly go, "We're from up there."
Yeah. That's so funny. That is so funny. Of course, people are going to ask you where you're from, because they're probably thinking the same thing, but they just don't know how to say it, how to word it. So anyway, I think we've had a really wonderful communication today. It's really awesome. Yeah. So let's tell the audience where they can look up your information, Pia, of all the wonderful things that you have, tools and resources to support humanity.
Well, the website that we do with the Pleiadians is larkma.com, LAARKMAA.com. And then I have a separate website that has Pleiadian Earth Energy astrology charts, alternative health consultations, because I have a PhD in psychology and in alternative health, so I help people with that. Intuitive sessions, various energy reports that I put out. Those can be found at my website, which is Pia Orleane, PIAORLEANE.com.
Both of the websites have truly an amazing amount of information to be shared. The things that we do, that we offer the public, and archival information about things we've done in the past. Or Pia recently did a really incredible workshop that you certainly know about. And when people find these things, often they're surprised that much of what we do is available and really actually quite helpful.
Yeah, yeah. Are you what do you have any things new creations on the go, or what's your
Oh, we just finished a creation that took us a year and a half to complete, and it's just been released to the public. And that is the original Pleiadian Wisdom Oracle card deck.
yeah.
And it's out and available for people if they want just a quick reference, a quick answer, some guidance for a question or an insight on how to move through the day. That's available. And the other thing that was just released this week is the brand new 2023 Pleiadian Earth Energy Calendar. It's about 44 pages full of Pleiadian information, Venus information, new moon, full moon, solstices, shadow cycle periods, and a regular calendar that marks what the universal energies are and what the earth energies are each day of the week. So there's a lot of information in that, and we're really proud of it. It's really beautifully designed this year by an artist that designed the artwork for the card deck. So the art is stellar.
Wow.
Both the new card deck and the calendar are a much more quick reference ability than reading our books. I mean, we love the fact that people have read and loved our books for years and years and years. But sometimes in today's hurried, quick lifestyles,
Yeah.
people simply don't have the time to sit down and read a book. But the oracle cards and the calendar can be utilized in a much quicker, a much more immediate way. And we wanted to bring these to the public so that people in their busy days could have a quicker reference, as Pia said. And hopefully these two resources are going to be helpful to people who don't want to sit and read a book.
That's good. I love that. I love that idea. It's wonderful. I think what we should do in this show too, Pia, is, we do bring one of your oracle card decks, and we pick a card as well from your deck so that we can start sharing them with people and they can see how absolutely fabulous they are. The thing about the calendar is just already was an extraordinary piece of art and work already before the 2023 calendar. So if this is, you said it's stellar, even better than before. It's like, oh my God. So that's really cool.
Well, we've been doing, I know you've been involved in the calendar for years now.
Yeah.
We've been doing the calendar for a long time, and we absolutely changed the graphics this year. It's a completely different look, and we're hoping that people will really enjoy the change of how we've been doing it to this new design, because Pia said stellar, and it really is stellar.
There's a lot of light in it.
Yeah.
A lot of light.
Yeah. Well, you guys are just a fabulous team, and you have your beautiful Larkma team that you're working with. And so you guys are creating amazing work in the world, for this world.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you
Well,
so much for doing that.
That's why I always say we're all in this together. We're all contributing in the ways that our particular gifts and talents are showing others by sharing what we know. And that's one of the reasons why we really truly like the term sharing rather than teaching, because everybody has something to share. Everybody has something to contribute. And if we can help everyone realize that sharing really truly does make a difference.
I feel like those words that you were talking about, teacher, healer, all of that, I think those are stepping stones going up in the spiral of consciousness. There is a time when those words work for wherever that person is. And just like the word forgiveness, right? Because if you live and act from the highest form of consciousness, from source energy, you understand and know that nothing really needs to be given, because forgiveness is a tool that is used to release the human from the suffering that the person is feeling.
And to open the heart.
Right? And open the heart. So forgiveness is for the person. But that is a tool at that level. But in the higher levels, that's not even something that needs to be forgiven, because we know it's all already forgiven. And it was a divine plan that these two individuals played out to experience this, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. It's all about growth and consciousness. Everything that we deal with is about, can we learn from this? Can we expand from this? No matter what the experience is, all of it that comes to us, or all that we create, is all about changing who we are and changing our perspectives to understand the bigger picture, the bigger truth.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for having a wonderful connection here today, communication. I've missed you guys, and I look forward to seeing you here again next month. And then we'll continue on into the fall. So this is September. Next month is October. And then comes November, shadow integration time. So, first we get the beautiful light and love, and then it's, let's go do that deep work. So looking forward to it, looking forward to our time. I thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that helps us, receive more, content. And we'll see you again next time. All right, everybody, take good care.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now.